What's up, guys? So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how I recently partnered on this offer in the holistic health space, and partner as the growth operator on this. And so I kind of built our entire funnel, kind of the architecture behind that. And it's been about a week and a half, so very, very, very fresh, but some very good signs. And I just kind of want to dive into some of the things that we're doing, what we're trying, and how it's worked so far, and then how we're going to kind of build on that. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So basically, I knew someone who they had an established brand. They had a faceless Instagram account where they would just click post, and he was making 4 to 5K a month just by selling products. But I came to him with the idea like, hey, like let's get a face to this, and then make it no longer a faceless account, and then we'll be able to offer something in the high ticket space. And he agreed to it. We found someone to kind of be the face of this offer, and we got to building pretty much right away. And so we ended up going with a low ticket ascension funnel. And so basically, we had a $21 front end product to attract buyers in hopes of ascending them to a $2,000 offer. And so basically, our whole goal was to attract low ticket purchases and then ascend them to our high ticket. And we originally were just kind of playing around like, okay, should we just go straight call funnel? Should we maybe go webinar? And we figured that we'd probably get higher quality leads if we did have some type of purchase up front, just because these are now buyers. They're not necessarily leads anymore. And so that's why we ended up choosing this funnel over just going straight call or VSL funnel. And so our whole idea, we're going to liquidate our front end ad spend and hopes of ascending them on the back end. And then also a big goal of ours, we did want to build our WAP community, just because we want the community to be a big part of what we do in the future. That's kind of a challenge right now, just trying to get engagement there. Anyways, we knew right off the bat this will completely fall apart if we are confusing our buyer quality with the offer architecture. Like the $21, it's really like, yes, we have something we're offering them, but we're really not looking at this from a profit perspective or trying to make money on that $21 offer. We're simply using this as a qualifier so that we're attracting buyers. And so the architecture, like I said, front end $21 entry offer, and the entire role is just to filter for serious people who are looking to solve a problem. In this case, it's been more so people who they're dealing with some type of health issue, whether it's gut inflammation, lack of energy, etc. And our front end offer was a 7-day detox, 7-day fruit and mineral detox. And so basically, yeah, we're just trying to service some paid intent. We don't want free leads. And we're just trying to have a little bit of an identity shift there with getting people who have actually bought something for us. And then also kind of using that front end offer as an asset that leads into kind of the next phase of things. And so our ascension is going to take them into a back end $2,000 transformation program. And so this is where the unit economics get really, really good. And so this is where we're actually going to solve the problem that the buyer truly wants. Like, obviously, anyone kind of knows like they're not going to heal their gut or just transform their energy in 7 days. They know they're going to need some type of more serious help. And so that's what the back end offer is centered around. And so we are selling this via what we've called a diagnostic call. And so we're trying to hide the sales process as much as possible, honestly, and just try to make it feel very just like consultative. And so, yeah, the $21, this is just going to unlock that next conversation where you're actually going to get the help that is going to help you in the long run. And so on that diagnostic call, the way we scripted, and like my team, we handled everything. So we handled the funnel, we handled the VSLs, we handled the offer structure and the architecture, we handled the actual scripting of the sales process, literally every little detail. And so our whole goal here was to, in the very beginning, we're going to qualify and just make sure they are there for the right reasons. We're going to diagnose, and then we're going to, I don't like saying this because obviously it kind of makes it seem like doctors and we're not, but like we're going to prescribe them with a program that we think will help them really solve whatever health problems that they're dealing with. And like we do have an expert who is they're handling these diagnostic calls, and so like they're very experienced in this field and like the holistic healing space. And so we just up front we wanted to handle all the objections and just really kind of like bake it into the flow. And we're targeting on a 1 call close. It's on a 2K offer. And so these buyers, they're arriving preconditioned already by the $21 offer that we have on the front end. And then also some of the things that we do in our back end selling system that are really preparing them for that call. And like I said, it's only been a week and a half, but I will say we are very happy with our take rate. Like it's very strong, the amount of people that are actually converting from that $21 offer and then booking a call right after. Very high. And then our close rate is also looking really good. I'll have more solid numbers at the end of this week. Like I said, just started, but yeah, very promising. And so the reason the call closes is because the $21, it's already proved that they have some willingness to pay. Like they're buying offer from someone who's quite new. Like I said, this account has been faceless for 3 years now, and so we're just now introducing a face to it, and people are still buying. So that is a really good sign. And this $21 it's also kind of signaling a trust threshold that okay, they're buying something, they do see us as an authority. And so ideally on these calls, like we're not trying to like pitch them. We're just trying to qualify them and make sure like, do you have something that we can like really help you with? And so like the front end and back end offers, they're not like these separate funnels. They're just different tiers of our ascension. So before I get into like what it actually looks like, I will say, so we are hitting some bottlenecks already. With ManyChat, we're figuring out that if people don't follow us, their messages are getting sent to their requests, and that is kind of limiting us quite a bit. We're looking at the numbers the other day, and like 42% of people aren't even opening the message because the conversation is buried. And so we're currently trying to work through that right now, and we're really like focusing on just like trying to make sure that people are going to follow us first before they comment the trigger word. And so yeah, just really trying to hone that in. That's one thing that is definitely holding us back right now. From like the numbers, like they're looking great, but if we are able to fix this and like get more follows from some of the viral posts and not just like keyword triggers, that's going to help a ton. So the reason why all this works mathematically is like the $21 payment, like it's just creating some type of like friction overcome. And then on that second purchase, that's when the friction is going to collapse. And so these $21 buyers, they're no longer like free leads. We're not offering a free community. We're not offering a free course. These are people, they've bought something from us. And so it's just a completely different psychology headed into the call. And obviously like buyers buy again. And so that was our whole goal with this. And our front end revenue is going to offset the ad cost, and the back end is the multiplier, obviously. And so we're not necessarily like cannibalizing the demand by offering this front end offer. We're just kind of sequencing it. And so as we get into it, like the low ticket, it's really like obviously like, we do have an offer on that front end, and like it's a 7-day detox. They get video modules, PDFs, tons of different resources, and so it truly will be really helpful for some people. But I'm just saying like that's not necessarily our focus. Like our whole goal is to get them to that high ticket. The low ticket is just the first step to that. Okay. And so as far as like our actual funnel and the messaging, we've really focused on this concept of like taking them to the pit and just really trying to pull out that pain and just really empathize with wherever they are. And so a lot of our messaging is centered around like whatever health issue that they are dealing with. And we have a few specific things. We ran some data through Manus on just the past 3 years and what people who follow and comment on that account have asked about the most. And so we've kind of framed our messaging around some very specific problems that most of the audience is actually looking to solve. And so we're naming that pain, and then we're trying to reframe it to where like they're not necessarily like broken. One thing that we did learn from the expert that we partnered with is that a lot of these people, they just kind of assume like this is just how my body is and it's never going to heal. And so we're really focusing on trying to reframe that mindset in our messaging, in our landing pages, in our VSLs, everything. And then the offer is obviously the way out of that. And so our front end pit, that's a $21 close. We're just trying to meet them where they are and just name out some daily symptoms like exhaustion, brain fog, bloating, caffeine crash, all these different things. And then we're trying to just name some type of deeper fear that they might have, whether it's illness, whether it's big pharma, all these different things. And then we're validating their failed attempts because a lot of people, they do try and they don't necessarily get the results. And so we're trying to show them, like, how are we different? How is buying our front end offer going to help them get some type of result that they maybe never had before? And so again, just a lot of reframe around you're not broken, you've just never had the right structure, and we want to help you change that. And so, like I said, our front end offer, 7-day plan, $21. You're going to get fruit, minerals, and daily steps. And yeah, that's everything up there. And then after that, so say someone, they buy our front end offer, then we go into kind of like our trust building. And so they buy our front end offer, we're immediately sending them to a page to book that diagnostic call. And so basically on this diagnostic VSL, we're just telling them, like, we're being very straightforward. Like, hey, I know you have this health issue that you are trying to solve, and you know that 7 days isn't going to be enough to deal with the root problems that you've been dealing with for 3+ years. And so just that messaging alone is attracting a certain type of person who can self-identify and say, hey, yes, I have been dealing with some very like serious stuff for the past few years. And like 7 days of fruit and minerals probably isn't going to fix that. And so once someone books a call on our calendar, we're then going into our trust building process. And so, this is between the $21 purchase and their diagnostic call. And so we're sending them straight to a confirmation page where we're just really trying to pre-frame everything. And so we're handling all the objections up front. Like maybe they've tried a lot of stuff. Maybe they can't commit. How is this different? I can't afford it. Too busy. No willpower. All these different topics. And again, these are all pulled from Manus, just kind of analyzing our audience and seeing like what are going to be some of the most common objections that come up just based on things that they've commented over 3 years, based on things that they've DM'd the account over 3 years. And we're just front loading them with all these different objections. And so now when they show up to the call, like they're arriving, like every common no, it's already been addressed. And so that's our goal, because we want this call to not feel like a sales call. We want it to be very consultative and kind of like personalized to them in a way. Obviously, the process is scripted, but we want it to feel very personal. And so once we get into the actual sale itself, we start off with our discovery. And so it's just a rapid fire of questions. And it's just like trying to understand like how they feel right now versus how they're wanting to feel. And then from there, we actually go into a menu unsell. And I think this is really important with our sales process, where we basically start telling them all the things that people have probably recommended to them, but they probably don't need. And like, these are things that we could offer them. Like, we have connections in some of these things, but like, we're telling them like, hey, you don't need this stuff. Your body needs to be supported in doing what it was already designed to do. And so by us building that trust right there and kind of letting them know like, hey, this is what you don't need. Like, I don't want you to try this. That's, again, is building the trust. And then now we're able to tell them what they do need, and they're going to believe it a lot more. And so that's when we head into our prescription upsell, where we tell them, okay, so yeah, we told you all the stuff that you don't need, but honestly, what you really do need, and it's our protocol that we've built out to offer them on the back end. And so it ends in the high ticket close. And like I said, it's been very, very effective. This is my first time running a low ticket ascension funnel, and I love it so far. It's working really well. The unit economics make a lot of sense, and I just think the psychology behind it makes a lot of sense. Just because, again, we're attracting buyers. Like, these aren't just a bunch of random leads. We're getting real buyers. We're getting people who they've already looked to solve a specific problem by purchasing our front end detox, and so now they're trying to go deeper, and it's reflected in the quality of the calls. I've been listening to all of them, and it's just it's very, very encouraging. And so yeah, we're gonna keep running this funnel. We're gonna keep really trying to push as much volume as possible. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now, and it's cooking. So I'll keep posting about this, and yeah, man.